Okay, so this game's been out for a few days now, and I really had no plans to make a video about it, but today after I got home, I was sitting around, I was bored, I didn't really have anything to do, so I figured, alright, I'll make a video about this. Because I've been a Pokemon fan all my life, I've played the game since I was a kid, and I have had many a fantasy about what Pokemon would be like in the real world. And now we have that in the app Pokémon Go, and I have quite a few things to say about it. First of all, I like the app, it's fun to walk around and catch Pokemon and battle gyms and all that. There's great enjoyment in that, and I got this app the day it came out, and they had some server issues. Oh yeah, that screen, you know what I'm talking about. The first few days I had the app, that's all I would get during the day. And it wasn't until like later in the evening it would finally work. Lately though, like the past couple days, it's been working great. And I play it all the time now whenever I'm like walking to class or going to a friend's place. So, about the game itself. Like I said, I like going around and catching Pokemon. It's a fun thing to do. You know, your phone vibrates for a second, you're like, oh, there's a Pokemon around, let's see. Thing is, yeah, I would think it'd be pretty cool if we could actually battle them. You know, like in any other Pokemon game when you encounter a wild one. Instead it's just, oh, you encounter one, swipe up to throw the Pokeball and you can catch it. I just think it would be a great way to train the Pokemon you already have. Instead, I guess the only way you power them up is to give them like Stardust and candy, whatever you get with catching them, which is also really fun to do, and I like seeing this beefed up team that I have now. But what's the point if the only place where you can battle anyone is at a gym? Like, I don't really feel like I'm gonna go out of my way to a specific location just to play the app and fight a gym. I understand some people will do that, just not me. Like, I wish we could battle wild Pokemon. I wish we could battle other people. You know, like my friend who has the app, we could battle each other like in any other Pokemon game that exists. I don't know, I feel like we might get that in an update later. If that's the case, then fine. I also feel like at this point everyone's gonna have the same Pokemon. You know, like the most common ones are like Rattatas and Pidgeys and Weedles, and I'm just saying Boston has a lot of Drowsies. There's no real variety in anyone's team, we all have the same guys. Which I get that we only have Kanto now, you know, we only have the first generation and not even everyone in there, because the app just launched, you know, we're only gonna have like the first generation, that's all we really need at the start. And I imagine that we will get the later generations in due time. We'll get Johto, we'll get Hoenn, we'll get Sinnoh, Unova, and Kalos I could really care less for. But yeah, it makes sense to start out with the OG generation. Here's one complaint that I have though. This game was marketed as Pokemon in the real world. I imagine a lot of Pokemon fans have had that fantasy. And a lot of the fantasies I had weren't just going around and training and battling, but they were just, you know, playing together or like petting them, just having fun with them, you know? In this game, I wish we could interact with our Pokemon, like Pokemon and me, you know, actually having bonds with these mystical creatures that don't exist. Make us actually feel like Pokemon trainers. At this point, I really don't feel like I have a long-lasting partner that I'm gonna have a bond with, like Ash and Pikachu. I just have my team that I go around powering up and fighting gyms with. So I feel like in a later update, they could add something like Pokemon and Me, where you can actually like go around, play with them, I don't know, pet them, I don't know, something. I don't know, I feel like that'd be pretty cool. I do like the soundtrack though, I like the music. The map theme, you know, the main screen you see when you're walking around. Yeah, it's good stuff. It sounds really Pokemon-ish. And I do like the fact that everywhere I go now, I see people with their phones out playing the game. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before. Like the day the app came out, that night I went to a gym that's near me, and there were a bunch of people there. Like it wasn't a huge crowd or anything, but there were quite a few people. And they all had their phones out, they were fighting the gym. It was pretty cool actually. I like it when a new game or thing can come out and just unite a bunch of people like that. Plus it gives people a pretty good reason to get up and go out for a walk. That can only be seen as a positive. So yeah, Pokemon Go, I really like the game as it is. I think there's a lot of room for improvement. A lot of updates are heading their way. I hear they're talking about giving us trading, which I think is pretty sweet. I feel like I'm gonna have this app for a long time. So Pokemon Go, did you get it? What are your thoughts on it? Whatever you think, go ahead and leave a comment. And don't forget to subscribe.